Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about how you pay into Social Security, whether you're a W-2 employee or you're self-employed. Please make sure to watch the video in its entirety so you don't miss any details that pertain to you and you're not surprised whenever you go to file for Social Security benefits. Okay, so kicking it off, probably the easiest one to start with is if you're a W-2 employee. So this is when you work for a company and you receive a W-2. So the way that the taxes are paid, at least for you as an employee, is everything gets taken out of your paycheck just right off the jump. So you have your gross wages that you earn, so your hourly rate times the amount of hours that you've worked, and then maybe any miscellaneous income that you might have. So it could be like a bonus, whether it's performance-based or maybe just a holiday bonus or something like that. Right? So those are all your gross wages. And then you'll have your tax deductions. So for the Social Security taxes, if you're reviewing your pay stub, it's going to look something like this. It's going to say OASDI, and that stands for Old Age Survivors and Disability Insurance, right? Because that's essentially what Social Security is a type of insurance based off of your work history, depending on the situation. And those are the three situations that pertain to Social Security. So whether you're retiring because of your age, so maybe you're in your 60s or above, maybe you are a survivor of a marriage, so your spouse passed away and now you're filing for benefits that way, whether it's for you or maybe your children, and then disability in the event that you have an injury that is expected to last at least 12 months or longer, or if it's maybe a terminal illness and result in death, unfortunately. So the applicable tax rate, which it has been for some time, is 15.3% for the OASDI, Old Age Survivors and Disability Insurance. Again, if you're a W-2 employee, your employer pays for half of this tax, and then you, as the employee, pay the other half. So it's broken down into, I believe it's 6.2% for each person, which comes to 12.4% in taxes that you would pay. And then separate from that is Medicare taxes. So Medicare taxes is 1.45% as a W-2 employee. That is your tax burden. So it comes out to a total of 15.3% of your wages is what gets taxed. And I believe that is off of your gross amount unless you have any sort of tax-deferred deductions like an HSA, which is a health savings account. So it's money that you set aside in case you have some sort of medical emergency or something like that. So down here you can see this is the cap as far as what you're going to pay in Social Security taxes. So you can see in 2023, the most that you'll get taxed on is the first $160,200. So let's say that you're in a job where you make $170,000 a year. You're only going to pay Social Security taxes on the first $160,200. After that, that 6.2% should stop coming out of your check. If you see it is continuing to come out, you can either, I would imagine you could probably contact your HR department if they're going to leave it as is, and then just make sure that when you go to file your taxes, that you bring that up, that you paid more than the taxable amount, and then, depending on the rest of your tax filing, you might get a refund of that or not if you ended up owing a tremendous amount or, whatever the case may be. As far as Medicare taxes, as you can see, this is just for the Old Age Survivors and Disability Insurance. Medicare tax has no cap. So if you make $5 million, you're going to be paying 1.5% of that $5 million in Medicare taxes, depending on, how your tax filing works out. As a self-employed person, because there is no employer contributions, the entire tax burden lies on you. So as an example, a self-employed person, if you look at your tax return and you're wondering, how, am I going to be counted for self-employment purposes? So in the eyes of the IRS and Social Security, if you file with a Schedule C, Schedule SE, or a 1099 as an independent contractor, in the eyes of those two agencies, you are considered self-employed, and the reason being is because all of the tax burden lies on you as the taxpayer. So, as an example, pull up our calculator here. As an example, let's say that you made, just keeping it real simple, let's say that you made $10,000 in gross wages as a self-employed person or a 1099 employee. Then let's say out of that $10,000, you wrote off in deductions $2,000. So that could have been maybe office supplies like pens, paper, ink. That could have been gas. Let's say that you're an Uber driver, right? So you're going to have a lot of deductions as an Uber driver between gas, oil changes, tire rotations, things like that, right? So you want to make sure that you keep track of all that stuff, all of your expenses. Right, so let's say that you grossed $10,000, and then after all of your expenses, you took out $2,000 in deductions, right? So now your net profit would be $8,000. So as a self-employed person, the tax burden lies on you. So you would take 8,000 times 15.3, which would be 15.3%. And to get the credit for all 8,000 of this and pay into Social Security, you would owe the IRS $1,224, right? If your tax return was essentially that simple. That's what you would pay them. And then once that's paid, then they'll transpose that information over to Social Security, and that's how you get the credit for your wages if you're self-employed or a 1099 employee. This is a relatively quick video. I hope it was able to help somebody. If it did help you or you learned something, then please make sure to give the video a like. It helps the algorithm and spread it out to other people who are looking for the same information. If you had a question about anything that I've covered, please leave a comment down below, and consider subscribing to the channel and turning on your bell notifications so that you're always notified whenever I'm posting new content. Thank you so much and have a good day.